All riders, time to clear the track. All riders, time to clear the track. And as we're closing down for warm-up, all right, folks, we're just a few moments out from starting here. If you're tuning in online and joining us on the stream, thanks for tuning in for Racing at the Velodrome. We're now live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're here in person, don't forget you can get to the stream real quick by going to velodrome.org/live. And while you're at it, a thumbs up and a subscription on our channel makes a big difference if you're on YouTube. Or, of course, a thumbs up and a share on the Facebook video can do a lot of good for us here at the Velodrome, so we appreciate your support tonight. Racing just about to get underway here. We got a fun program for you tonight, starting with some split scratches. It's kind of like a points race, but really short. That's the way I like to think about it. The Marymore Crawl, some Keirins, our featured race tonight. Of course, the fast finishing Kieran, always fun to watch, and a fast scratch race to close it out. It'll be a good program here, Friday Night Racing. We're just about ready to start. Looks like we're ready on the field to bring our riders together for a quick meeting. So athletes, if you wouldn't mind, we need your attention on the infield for a brief rider meeting. Riders on the infield, your attention to the podiums for a brief rider meeting. Thank you. All right, and with the conclusion of that meeting, we are ready to begin our Friday Night Racing program. I think we're going to need to call for the Cat 4s for a rollout procedure. Might be the first thing we need to get done. Our first group up will be the Cat 1-2 men for the split scratch. Okay, we'll do the rollout later. I was making an assumption. I'll call when it's more appropriate timing. Right now, the Cat 1-2 men can come to the rail for the first race, though. Let's get that one going now. Cat 1-2 men to the rail for your split scratch. Our first race of the night. On deck, the women competitors, also for their split scratch, will be coming up next. And with that, we are getting things underway. Again, welcome. Thanks for joining us here in person and hanging out with us here in the month of September. We only have 2 weeks of racing left in 2021. But that isn't a sad thing to say. That's actually celebratory. We're so glad to have had this season in the first place. It's been an absolute joy out here at the track with all the great racing this summer. And we've just got a couple more weeks of fun together with our groups. And this is going to be a good evening of competition tonight. We've got the Cat 1-2 men on the track for their neutral lap before they'll start for 14 laps in what's called a split scratch. Split scratch is a race, split right down the middle. They're going to get points halfway through. There'll be 5, 3, 2, and 1 to the first riders across the line at halfway point, and then at the end of the race, they'll do the same thing, 5, 3, 2, and 1 on the final lap. The rider with the most number of points on this race will be our winner. They'll give it to him. A little bit of separation at the front, but the field is all sticking together nonetheless, not a problem. So, out of corner 4, with Andy Baker on the lead of the lap, off we go. So this ends up being like the shortest scratch race that we do out, or the shortest points race that we do out here, as the distance is relatively short for what is essentially just a 2-lap points race. There's 2 laps on this thing that's going to be pointed. The rest of them are just kind of the interim laps. So right now we're in between the start and that first sprint for points at the halfway mark. The riders tonight only get 2 opportunities. So in that regard, because there's only 2 shots and they're equally weighted, it's like racing 2 scratches without a rest. You got to sprint once in the middle and then immediately get ready for it going again. And you got to perform well in both if you want to find yourself at the top of this race, most likely in this field tonight. In the early goings, we're going to see a lot of these rotations. I expect there's going to be more attacks following the first sprint than there are now, since most of the riders are fresh. These attacks probably won't result in the group splitting apart at any point before the first sprint occurs. We'll see how these riders go about things at 12 to go. Nick Martinez is on the front. Matty Hers, number 15, will take the front after him. In these kind of nights with the overall top speed being a real big factor in the field, Matty Hers has been a very effective competitor this season for the Keller Rohrbach team. Number 15 has been a real force to watch. So keep your eyes on the rider in the black with the neon there that pulls out of the way, number 15, to do something tonight. Vern Cole at the front for the Liquid Velo team in the black and green takes the lead of the lap with 11 to go. Not a weekly visitor here at the track, but whenever he's here, he makes things fast and hard for the whole field as number 17. He's got a name around the community as the Rockets, David Richter, part of the Fountain Cycling Guild team, and whenever he shows up, he is somebody you have to keep an eye on. So number 17, he's right in the middle of the field. You'll want to keep your eye on him. He's got some teammates out here that are also very capable of mixing things up, as we got a rare visit from one of his teammates, Mario Sandoval. The rider was momentarily at the front. He's got the green jersey with the red bike. Another rider with some great top speed to be watching this evening. Our overall strong rider, number 4, Andy Baker, comes to the front. He's got great endurance and a good sprint out of the field. He's been in great form here in 2021. At our fun event last weekend, he was able to pull out a victory after lapping the field in the final race of the International Omnium. So he's got the motor, and he's also, again, out of the field. Somebody to keep your eye on is number 4, Andy Baker. We're getting to the first sprint in a few more laps. The riders are seeing 9 to go, as Chris Wilson, also the Fountain Cycling Guild, comes up to the front. And one of our juniors in the elite men, that's Carl Pratis, takes a short pull, number 58, before he thinks he's feeling the same kind of energy as the rest of the field, as they're starting to kind of want to take a bit of a rest before the sprint. That's when Steven Wilson's, number 25, is going to put on a little bit more acceleration and moves up to the front. He's going to get this thing rolling early, as this is now Bell Lap, the first of 2 chances for points. Riders are going to be looking over the right shoulder. Move's starting to come from the middle of the field. That's number 17, the Rocket's going to take off all the way from back as he crosses the line. He leaves a lot of riders way back behind him. I mentioned Matty Hers on that opening lap. Number 15 in the black and the neon starting to make his way up. There's number 4, Andy Baker. He's coming up, and he'll probably find his way for 3. It's going to be Richter for the first 5. The Rocket picks up the first 5. Baker for 3. I've got number 15. The Keller Rohrbach rider is going to pick up 2. Mario Sandoval, Super Mario, the rider in green with the red bike, picks up 1. Those are unofficial points after the first sprint. Your leader, number 17, Richter. Dynamic and fast attack there as he hit the line, coming from about 5 or 6 wheels back, makes it look easy as he comes out and across the rest of the front of that field and is able to snatch away the first 5. So now you can see after the first attempt and the first attack, I should say the first sprint, we're now seeing some of the first bits of this group getting pulled apart. As there's a little bit of rest needed for the riders after that first sprint. This is the perfect time for some of the riders just to keep it fast and maybe thin the field a bit. And they'll do just that. 5 to go. Your race leader, number 17, sits on the back of this front group. The riders that are just now going under the Greg cycle sign at the front. The rest of the riders just now coming into turn 1 are in pursuit, trying to get back up to the field. It is likely, though, with riders like Nick Martinez at the front of the race, that the front group will not let this thing get back together again, as they're happy having it be a little smaller. Chris Wilson, number 39, to the front. On his wheel in the national colors is Kenny Williams. Number 4 to go. Riding for the Center Cycles team, and of course with the red, white, and blue on his jersey for his many-time Masters Nationals champion. Kenny takes a pull through the turn, pulls up, and now is given lead back to Hers, who finds himself in second place after the first sprint. Third place, excuse me, the rider for Keller Rohrbach with 2 points. You still have your lead group dropping a couple of these riders, and they found themselves isolated behind the lead group coming out of turn 4 now. Hitting the home straight with 2 to go. This is now going to be your field for the competition. Number 17, your leader with 5 in second wheel. Sandoval right in front of him is currently in 4th with 1 point. Hers is watching Richter right now. Rider 15 moves up as he goes up the track. So this is what we kind of call marking a rider. You're going to watch the wheel. And as they're watching each other, that's when Andy Baker's going to go on the early attack. He knows he's got endurance to keep the speed up for a while. This is going to be a solo effort from Baker to try to win the race. He's trying to trade blows with Richter, who's left back in the back group, as Baker is on a good move at 1 to go. Sandoval is trying to pursue him down, but I think number 4 may have dialed this one in perfectly. 2 riders from Fountain Cycling both find themselves out in front of the field and are in chase, but are not going to be able to find Andy Baker's wheel at their current speed. This will put him in a points tie with any rider that had some points before at worst, but I think with 8 points total, this will be enough for Baker to get the first race tonight. Sandoval for 3 on the final sprint, 2 more for Chris Wilson, and out of the field comes Mike Robson to move up in the finishing order. That's number 9 with the yellow jersey. Playing at Sav in the middle of that field. He finds his way out for that good last sprint. Those riders will take their exit on the back straight. There's a few more riders to finish up here for our Cat 1-2 men, and the women are about ready to come up. And track looks clear. Women to the rail, please. Now for your field of local competitors, this women field are going to go out for another split scratch. That's right. These riders that you're seeing all tonight, many of them are just right here from the Seattle area, some traveling from a little bit outside of our region, but for the most part, these are athletes that make their homes here right around us. They work amongst us, and then they come out on Friday night and they transform into these competitive athletes under the Friday night lights. The riders on their neutral lap for yet another split scratch. The total lap is 12, which means that there will be a bell at 7 to go for the points at the halfway mark and another sprint at the end. Same format as we just saw the Cat 1-2 man race, where they got 2 opportunities for points to come out on top. On deck, Cat 3 men for your split scratch. The Cat 3 men are up next. And the whistle signals the start of the first lap after the neutral. 12 to go, bell at 7. Emily Alexander for the Liquid Velo squad is number 113 at the front of the group. As I mentioned before, these riders are part of our community. They come out on these weeknights to compete at our velodrome. We're proud to be not just a place for competition and sport, but also of education, as many of these riders have got their start right here at our velodrome with an adult class, or maybe way back when they were juniors when they got started here. Classes offered during the summer months begin back in around May or so. You can start getting some of the earlier classes in 2022. So if you're interested in getting out here on the track and giving this a try, we actually have a class perfect for you. It's called Try the Track. Classes are full for 2021 for all adult and junior classes. But if you want to keep your eyes on at JB Velodrome on Twitter, you can be on a part of our newsletter by heading to the website, velodrome.org, or you can give us a like on our Facebook page, the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome Fan Zone. We will post updates in the spring when the new calendar is released for 2022, and you can get signed up for a new experience out here on the track. Take a whip around the 400-meter velodrome with one of our rental bikes. At 10 to go, the field's been in kind of an exchange mode, much like you saw in the first race in the split scratch. The early laps are an opportunity for these riders to exchange, keep the pace fairly consistent, and not to use too much effort before the first sprint. Heather Nielsen, the rider in red. Rider 111 taking her pole as she pulls out of the way. Alexander again at the front, and now a new face for this season of the Found Cycling Guild, Jen Wheeler. Not a new face in our community, but coming out to join us for tonight. This rider in second wheel spot, number 122. 102 on her wheel is the dominant force of this field this season. And if you want to watch some real smooth sprinting, you're going to keep your eye on Annette Williams, number 102 for the Center Cycles team. She's been, again, dominant in 2021 in these riders, really performing just about week to week, has been consistently at the top of this group. She takes the front, the rider with that white helmet and the blue kit. Coming close to their first sprint. Still looking for another lap before we'll get the first bell as Williams is on the front. Amar Edwards sits behind her, number 103 for the Greg's cycling team. As Edwards comes to the front, a couple riders behind her are looking around, trying to figure out if anybody wants to go accelerate this thing with Edwards, and picks up the pace a little bit. Now down the back straight, some opening happening here as the field is preparing for the upcoming sprint. I suspect Edwards just happy to keep things moving along as the field hesitates once again as she sweeps up. At 7 to go, they get our first bell. Points next time to the leader of the lap. This is the invitation for Wheeler to go on the move, and a big attack down the home straight as Wheeler is going to launch it all the way around the track. Big move for the rider for Found Cycling. Annette Williams wasn't up to speed as she got up to speed. Now trying to recover her way back up there. She's making some ground up, as is Becca Book, the rider in orange, another one of these competitors out here that keeps it fast when she's here. Not here every Friday, but whenever she shows up, she keeps it close with Annette Williams on her wheel now. At 6 to go, it'll be Wheeler for 5. Williams for 3, Book for 2, and the sprint for 1. Whoa, I think I want to give it to Kelly, please, on the inside. The officials will give me the head nod to confirm the call. If you want to revisit tonight, not only can you go back and watch the live stream again to kind of be able to watch what was happening on a Friday night, but you can also go check out Dennis Crane's work on dbcphoto.com. DBC Photography's here taking photos of all the action. He's here on the home straight, getting the finishes right now, having some fun. Always getting the good shots and the good angles is Dennis. dbcphoto.com, support our local photographer and sponsor of the track once again in 2021. At 5 to go, things have gotten broken up as Wheeler's going to use her endurance to try to apply pressure to the rest of these riders tonight as she breaks away and keeps on her pace and will not allow anybody to get back on her wheel. She wants to close down the split scratch right then and there with that first move for 5 points. She'll carry the day with this sort of strength. I'm not sure they're going to be able to find her. The race might be on for second place behind her. 4 to go for Wheeler and the rest of the women's field. You can see here as Becca Book has got an opportunity to try to go catch number 104. Wants to at least break away from 102 if she can. She finished 1 point behind Williams in the first sprint, so if she can get ahead of her, she would be in a tie with Williams potentially, but if she's in front, she breaks the tie by being ahead. So that's a good move by Becca Book to go on the attack and try to invest in this move. On the home straight, your leader in the race and on the field right now with 5 points, Wheeler. 3 to go. Here's Becca Book on her solo move, trying to stay away from the riders behind her. If she can be out here again, I think she's got second place locked in. And now you've got your chasing group of 3. The field all the way back here at the line is seeing 3 to go. Wheeler has just totally blown this thing apart. She's almost half lap on our field. Impressive move. Not only her top speed, now she continues on this impressive solo athletic maneuver. Wheeler, 2 to go, 2 to go. Becca Book still out here kind of dangling alone, but she's gained some ground on the chasing group of 3. They're having a hard time keeping her in check. So again, as long as the rider in orange stays where she is in relation to the other riders, she's probably going to be our rider in second place. I know it doesn't look like much, folks, but again, whenever you see a good athlete, it's not so hard to put your hands together for Jen Wheeler. 1 to go. 1 to go for Wheeler. An impressive effort by this rider tonight. I think she's going to continue to be a force to be reckoned with this evening for the women. Also, Becca Book getting the 1 to go out here. She's going to be getting a good position for second place. 1 to go, 1 to go. All right. So the story of this race, kept it together. First attack, Wheeler's demonstrating what kind of athlete she is tonight. One goes ahead for the big 5 and will carry the day with that move. A nice race for her tonight. Good to have her out here on a Friday night of racing at the Velodrome. As Becca Book will be your second place finisher after she comes across the line. And here comes a sprint for 2 points. Kelly Please for the Apex Racing Team, number 112, will pick up 2 in the final sprint. Well done for all of our women competitors getting across the line here. Women and juniors, thanks for the clarification. All right, looks like we're clear for the Cat 3 men to the rail. In the neutral now for yet another split scratch. The Cat 3 men for a 12-lap competition. Halfway through this thing again, they'll go for 5, 3, 2, and 1, and once again at the final lap. I think you figured it out by now how this one works. We'll start them out of turn 4 with the whistle, just like we do with all of our mass start races. Looks like Austin Hildreth might be looking down at the bike because he might have a bit of a mechanical issue going on. All right. We might have a call here for you, Cat 3s. Just hold on. Cat 3s, I think we're going to be neutralizing this again since we have a mechanical before the race started. So up to the rail, please. Up to the rail. We're neutralizing this thing up. There we go. Cat 4s, can we do your rollout now since we got the timing to do it? Cat 4s, we'll get you up for your rollout right now. We'll get Austin Hildreth back out in the race before we start it. We might as well. We've got something better we can do with our time than sit around and not have anything going on. So Cat 4s, let's do rollout real quick on the home straight. And we'll take a little bit of a break from the action as we have a moment to catch your breath and talk a little bit about some other stuff going on here at the Velodrome. Don't forget, you can come on in and join us here in the Velodrome for Friday Night Racing. If you're out in the park right now, come on in. We're having a great time watching some good racing tonight. The beverage garden is open. We got Locust Ciders and Postdoc Brewery, our sponsors for 2021. Just $5 a pour, and the money goes right back to support the Marymore Velodrome Association. Your donations never tasted so good. One of the big things that we get geared up for in the off season as we start looking ahead and thinking about 2021, the winter time going into 2022, is we think about our fundraising opportunities that we do. Of course, this place is run by a nonprofit, the Marymore Velodrome Association, since its first year of operation when it was constructed back in 1975. With a few renovations since then, it's basically in the same location shape as it was back then. The Marymore Velodrome Association's big fundraiser, the annual fundraiser, happens in the off-season. If you want to be kept up to date with opportunities about how you can support that, or maybe you want to have some services or other items that you think might do well in an auction-like format for a community full of good folks that also happen to be athletic, I would tell you that you should sign up for the newsletter at velodrome.org, where you can get signed up for that communication that comes out once a month. And of course, keep tuned on to our socials, where we will be posting updates about the auction for next year and ways you can get connected to both volunteer as well as donate and help make that a successful event. You can see our riders on the home straight. One of the things that we do around here for the Cat 4s is we have what's called a gear restriction. So riders are able to change the gearing on their bike once before the race starts. No shifters involved, so they set the length of that gearing ahead of time. And for the Cat 4s, we have a maximum size in place. So riders are demonstrating that they are underneath that maximum by doing a quick rollout procedure on the home straight. Once they're okayed for that, then we know they're cleared to race this evening. Once we get through with that, we'll restart the Cat 3s for their split scratch. All right, looks like we're good to restart this race. All right, off for the neutral one more time to the Cat 3s. Thanks for being good sports and being patient. I mean, I guess we don't have a choice, but we appreciate it anyways. Several juniors make up this squad as they go around the neutral. You can see the Jerry Baker Juniors team is the team in black and blue. Now 50-some juniors strong. Are you kidding me? Can't even believe it. I'm never going to see my wife. The Jerry Baker Juniors team will have more information and be recruiting for new members going into the next season as well. Always happy to take on more new riders that are looking for a home as they train and learn the skill set to race here at the track and beyond. A very supportive parent group. And of course, lots of great kids to join in on this community, and you get to be a part of the greater racing community here at the Velodrome. And there's the whistle for the first lap of racing, 12 to go. We are, of course, in partnership with the Jerry Baker Memorial, or the Jerry Baker Juniors, but you do not need to be, your young riders don't need to be on the team to race it here at all. It's just a good partnership we got with this great team. 3 riders in the group, and they appear to be all behind Joe Spranger, one of the riders out here in our field tonight. On the front is Gene Wainwright for the Dyna Racing team. Slightly smaller group here for this evening in our Cat 3s, but still plenty of good athletes showing up tonight. And if you don't know who to cheer for, you can always watch where the Red Ranger goes out there. That's Stan Douglas. He's back about third from the back of the lineup. That's right. I was so enamored with the Red Ranger. It took me until like a couple weeks ago to realize that he also got it with his team still on there. You can still tell that he's part of the Flow Factory team, the Flow Cycling team. It's pretty awesome. And pretty awesome kit. You gotta give it to him for that. So early laps in the split scratch. Again, what's the point? Kind of work down the laps. We will get a bell at 7 to go for the first sprint of 2. 5 through 2 and 1 to those riders on the lap. This is Austin Hildreth coming to the front. For the Country Green team. Yes, Country Green in blue. That's correct. Grant Gibson, my first time getting to say his name here this year, though he's had a couple of race nights riding for Liquid Velo, the rider in black and green at the front of the group. Takes a momentary pull before moving out of the way for Joe Spranger, and again, Gene Wainwright coming to front. This is Peter Snoblin for the Airtech Racing team. Seeing 9 to go. This rider is always one to instigate. If he's got track in front of him and he's feeling feisty, he will always try to keep things fast. He'll pull up here now and not take this opportunity to go on the move. And they all see Itai kind of calmly moving his way to the front now as Malakoff has taken the sprinter's lane for the Jerry Baker's Juniors team. That forces our Red Ranger to make an acceleration as Douglas will try to take the front. This is going to be ahead of the first sprint. He still has another lap before the bell, but Douglas will take the front and get things cooking. Itai Malakoff, after that move to reaccelerate the field, will pull up as well. And the field now moves up above that blue line for the most part. Talk about that sprinter's lane. You can kind of see everywhere on the track, there are some lines painted across this whole facility. The black and red lines indicating the fastest lane on the track down the lowest part. You've got your blue line all the way across. Kind of the slow lane is anything above that blue line, so to speak. The bell's ringing, and now Peter Snoblin knows where the fast lane is. He's going to move his way down to the left and get on the attack. 337 is Mike Ritter on his wheel, also for Dyna Racing. Snoblin on the move. The middle of the field is where you're going to watch the riders reconfigure. That's where the sprint and the attack will come from now, as the reacceleration will come from Hildreth. He's starting to move his way up. It's still Snoblin on the front as they hit the Stanley sign. It's almost 3 riders side by side as we come out of the turn. It's 3 abreast coming onto the home straight. Hildreth running at it for 5, but it's going to be in the middle maybe for Ritter. He's accelerating. Hildreth, it'll be Hildreth by just an inch. Unofficially, Ritter, I think, grabs the 3 points, and then 2 juniors. First, it'll be Spranger, and then Malakoff, I believe, go 2 and 1. That call unofficial. Good sprint between Hildreth and Ritter. I'll barely give it to the Country Green rider in blue, number 320. Hildreth was my eyes. We'll confirm shortly. And after that, the field says time to take a break, move up to the slow lane and breathe a little bit. Prepare for the reacceleration to come at the end of the race. It will be 320 Hildreth for the 5, Ritter for 3. On deck are the Cat 4 men for the split scratch, our last of the split scratches before we go into the Keirins. We got Kieran heats to qualify for a minor and a major final in each of our fields tonight. Should be a good time. That is going to be the next set of races coming up after these split scratches are all wrapped up. There will be a quick interim of the Marymore crawl in between. That'll be a fun one to watch as well. So stay put and have yourself a good evening here. We've got plenty more good racing up ahead. Snoblin accelerates things on the home straight. Talked about he's an instigator. He wants to keep the field moving. He does so again here at 3 to go. The rider in white now pulls up and finds himself near the front. He's hoping for some help, though. The junior's not wanting to pull too hard right now. They're going to come sit down a little bit as he re-accelerates. So will Spranger. Number 333 is going to pick the pace back up again. A 2 to go. Your leader, remember, is number 320, the rider in blue at the back of this field right now, though it's not a large enough field that he's out of the sprint. That's a great place to be if you're trying to rest a bit before top speed is going to be re-engaged. They're sitting right next to the rider in second, Mike Ritter in pink. Two of the juniors kind of in front on his left. The riders in the black and blue are the other riders with points, Springer and Malakoff. Everyone else looking for their first point in this final sprint. High and along the rail. Hildreth is feeling it. He'll use the bank to get a nice acceleration down the sprinter's lane. Nice move ahead of the bell. Number 320 wants to take them around for 400 meters of top speed. Spranger is a kid that might be able to get up there, though. Good move from the junior. Can he get there in time? Meantime, Malakoff also in pursuit. Spranger's catching and making up some ground. It's still the kid on his way. Can he get to the wheel? He's on his way, and contact. Here he goes, right over the top. Spranger with the counterattack finds his way to the front. Hildreth with a great move, but Spranger is strong enough to get there again. Malakoff is still chasing him down. The juniors are fighting every tooth and nail to get this thing. Whoa. Malakoff might have gotten 3 out of that. Hildreth was looking around thinking, oh, geez, Joe got me, but at least I got 3. But what? Surprise. Cat 4 men. We're about ready to bring you out here onto the rail. We just need to finish up these last couple riders and get everybody off safely. Cat 4 men to the rail. Ten laps for the Cat 4 riders now in the neutral. We'll start them out at turn 4 as we've been doing all night. First bell at 6 to go and another one at 1. Our final split scratch tonight. And a good field here for the Cat 4s in what will be one of their last few attempts this season to come out and put a good show on us for us here tonight. Cat 3s, we did have a slight change in the heats for the Kieran as posted earlier. Thanks to a couple scratches, we want to make sure we had competitive and fair heats. The adjustment is Joe Spranger moving out of heat 1 into the second heat is the only real change. Everybody else should stay put. Again, Cat 3 is a slight change to the Kieran heats. You can check the online folder for start lists. And off we go. David Gilchrist, 499, will move things along. David's been racing our Fridays and our Wednesdays practically weekly this entire season, so starting to show some improvements throughout the 2021 season. He'll try to show it off right now. Get on the attack and get off the front of this group. He brings with him a few other riders that are ready to go at the beginning of the race. It's 9 to go. Brendan Comfort, 457. Recently, a dominant rider for these Cat 4s, earning his upgrade points. If you've been listening to me talk about these categories, that's just a reference to the competitive categorization for riders out here on the track. They earn upgrade points, which they'll allow them to move their way up through Cat 4, Cat 3, Cat 2, and eventually Cat 1 on their cycling license out here at the track. I think Comfort is making a pretty good effort here at the end of the 2021 season to make his way possibly in the Cat 3s. A lot of good racing by him in the last couple of weeks. With 8 to go. You see a little snap there between the two groups. On deck, we do start with the Kieran heats, the next group to race after the Marymore crawl, I should say. So Marymore call riders are going to be coming up next, followed by the first heat for the Cat 1-2 men. That first heat is Haldeman, Waterman, Siegel, Martinez, and Richter. That's going to follow the Marymore crawl. That'll be our next race. Fields all together. That's Thomas Park at the front for Machine, the rider in the maroon colored jersey, looking around waiting for somebody to try to take the front from him before he pulls up out of the way. Confer once again at the front. Fred Marshall on his wheel, the rider in the orange and yellow. Coming in our first point sprint, 5, 3, 2, and 1 next time around, and a lot of hesitation at the front as we're waiting for the first sprinter to really get things engaged. Confer feeling confident from the front as he looks over the right shoulder, waiting for somebody to even try to overtake him. Thomas Park is in a good spot to sprint at him. He's come down the sprinter's lane and run at the wheel. Trying to close that gap down enough that he'll benefit from being right behind the rider in front of him. He may be able to get up there in time. It's Confer at the front and Park still accelerating. Confer and Park. Confer sees the attack. It'll be Confer and Park for the 5 and the 3. A good sprint there. Merritt Gallagher for the junior team finds 2. And our other Jerry Baker Jr. rider, J.C. Pyle, gets 1. Down the back straight, your 2 riders that picked up the 5 and the 3 look like they've just formed a new team. Out of the ashes of their conflict, this new bond is formed. 2 riders off the front. As this is a common formation in racing, when you get yourself in a breakaway, no longer are you competitors, you're now teammates. For the few laps now, what they want to do is establish a pace and a tempo, and if they're sprinting against each other, it's less efficient. So Park and Confer will now take turns. It's not a race between them, it's a race against the field. And that's where they are now with a nice gap between them. We can see what looks to be about 100 meters of distance for our lead group. Three to go, Confer and Park. Well ahead of the rest of these riders. A head-to-head sprint for first place between those two. Everybody else really is lining up for third, figuring out how they're going to break this thing down. As I don't see this field catching in time, the leaders will be seeing 2 to go next time around.
Hey, check it. Hey, check it. Put the place up.
Here's your leader seeing 2 to go. Park on the front, number 435. Next time around, we'll get a bell. 2 to go for the field. 2 to go. 4:59, Wilson Turk taking the lead for a moment. On deck, Marymore crawl competitors, be ready. We're about ready to ask you to go up to turn 4. So if you're going to be part of the crawl, be ready. There's your bell for 1 to go. 1 to go. Thomas Park on the lead. Brendan Confer in a head-to-head match for these two to sort out who's in first. Confer's found himself on the wheel of Park ahead of their full speed. The field sprinting for what will be third place as Kevin Hodges is going to make a move down the back straight. And here comes Confer out and around the outside for Thomas Park. It'll be Confer, your winner tonight, as he will pull away. Confer for 5 more, and your winner tonight in the split scratch. Here comes Thomas Park for his second place finish, and good work by the field to close this down as much as they did. Hodges for 2, James Campbell Harris for 1 in the final sprint. All riders will exit on the back straight. The Marymore Crawl open to all riders here tonight that would like to participate. Will head over to turn 4 up on the rail. So if you're here tonight and want to be in the crawl, you can make your way now to turn 4 on the rail. We'll get you started here shortly. Riders for the crawl can make their way to turn 4 on the rail. Joe Spranger showing you the way. All right, one more call. Let's get our Marymore crawl competitors to turn 4 on the rail. If you'd like to be in today's crawl, make your way to turn 4. All right, off we go for the crawl. Riders getting the whistle now know the race has started. Out here on the track, our riders cannot cross the finish line or use anything to help them stay upright except for the power of their own 2 feet attached to the fixed gear bike. Oh, geez. Whoa! JC with the win tonight. Oh, geez. The cash. Okay, well, this thins our field nicely. Yeah, we are online. We are online right in Scott Fowler's face right now. Team Booger. That was a good move. Oh, geez. The $5. Come on. All right. You can see we've got quite a few juniors in here. That looks to be Rue representing the junior team, the green mask. You got, looks like Henry behind. We're 505 right here. And he's got the red helmet on. He's going to be surviving. And then back there we got Peter Gilchrist in good form. He's not moving an inch. At some point the bell will ring. Then they can go for a 1-lap sprint. If they can stay in long enough, then they get the opportunity to sprint for the top dollar. It's two positions for the cash. Getting a good look at up and close there to Peter Gilchrist in his form. A little bit tiring, as you can imagine, using the muscles to maintain that sort of balance. Scott Fowler up here is the rider way up to the front. Ooh, man. This is a whole new type of endurance. 3 riders left. It's 2 positions deep for the cash. You just got to survive and try to be one person. Fowler still in it up the front. Oh, Henry's getting close to the line. He still has some running room. Can he hold on long enough? Come on. Oh, how cruel. Who's going to ring the bell? It's Fowler and Gilchrist now about to go head to head. There it is. And the head-to-head will be one of our junior riders taking on the Booger. Onto the warm-up circle. While we watch this race complete, we will make sure the first Kieran heat's ready to go. Haldeman, Waterman, Siegel, Martinez, and Richter, as well as the second heat getting ready. Vincent, Cole, Pratis, Robson, and Wilson. Put your hands together here for the Marymore Crawl. We had some fun tonight. It's our fun novelty race, and Peter Gilchrist will be your victor. Scott Fowler with the good show will be second across the line. JC Pyle says, I don't care. I got $20. On the warm-up circle, once again, we've got the first heat now in the ready, and they're going to get lined up behind the moto shortly. Matt Haldeman, Eric Waterman, Alex Siegel, Nick Martinez, David Richter. Your heat now on the warm-up circle. Or I suppose over in the ready area going into the warm-up circle. I think Amaro will cue you up. Once again, the order for the first heat: Haldeman, Waterman, Siegel, Martinez, Richter for Heat 1. Our second heat, Scott Vincent, Vern Cole, Carl Pratis, Mike Robson, and Chris Wilson are getting ready next. So these heats are going to be qualifiers for the finals that you'll see later. So riders actually have to qualify by finishing in top positions during these heats, and then we'll get to race again for the finals. You can be guaranteed that this will be some of our fastest finishes this evening. Will be these Kieran competitions, in particular the finals coming up in a bit. So first we get the joy of watching these riders qualify. And our first group coming onto the track, now getting up to speed. If you're online, you'll get a lot of views from the back of the Kieran as we got a camera on there giving us some in the action perspective. Our big thanks to our community for their generous support this year of our initiative to improve and enhance the live stream in little ways that have made a big difference for folks that may not have felt safe to come out at the beginning of the season or just may not be able to make it to the track for whatever reason. Glad to be able to provide this service here this year, and in large part to the donations from the track community to make that a possibility. With 3 to go, the Pacers' job, as you can see, is to accelerate this field consistently and to provide the draft for the rest of the group. So it makes it a little bit easier for those riders to get up to speed. They're not spending as much energy. Once he gets them up to top speed on the next lap on the back straight, he will exit the track, and then it will be the riders' race to figure this thing out. Getting a good view of Haldeman there for the single malt velo from the back of the Kieran. With 2 to go, number 34 will be the front of the race soon. Number 20, Eric Waterman, has been very strong here in 2021, has got good top speed, but right behind him, he's also got a pretty good sprinter in Alex Siegel. And at the back of this thing, you saw Richter's top speed in his first sprint from the split scratch. I'm watching the middle of this field to see how Siegel chooses to race this thing, especially coming into around corner 2. You're going to want to see where these riders move in position. It's still Haldeman on the front with 1 to go. Top 2 advance to the major. Top 2 advance to the major. Number 27, Siegel, starting to make his move in about the middle of turn 1. He'll take the lead spot. He brings with him Martinez and Richter. Heat 2 in position up next. We need Matty Hers, Andy Baker, Mario Sandoval, Kenny Williams, and Steven Wilson's also the ready area. That's Heat 3. It's Siegel on the front, who's going to be the second rider in. Richter by a bit. Looks to be number 17. Siegel, your rider in front, all the way on the home straight. You can see our next heat getting set up to go here on the warm-up circle. The second heat's got Scott Vincent, Vern Cole, Carl Pratis, Mike Robson, and Chris Wilson. You get a good view of Scott right there, right behind the moto, number 16, if you're tuning in on the live stream, as they are rolling around the warm-up circle and getting prepped to start. 2 riders advance to the major. What happens to the 3rd and 4th? Well, they get to race in the minor final, so they're not done tonight either. If you want to be top 6 places, you got to qualify for the major final. The minor final rides for 7th through 12th place in the Kieran. Rider watching this field is probably, again, the rider in 3rd wheel, perhaps the truest sprinter of this group, Carl Pratis. Though a junior, he still competes with these elite men, with his top speed being a big factor here tonight. On either side of him, he's got some good riders to watch for as well. I'm wondering who will join him in my prediction for what would be the riders to advance into the major final. Chris Wilson at the very back, number 39, also very capable. Mike Robson right in front of him is the rider in yellow. So the back of this field, again, may be the part to kind of watch how they position themselves as they begin to engage top speed after one more lap. Pacer off the front. The e-bike takes the left-hand turn, and off we go as they're going to be getting the bell, rounding the corner. Scott Vinson's still on the lead of the lap, number 16. The junior is starting to make a move down the middle of the field. He's going to come out and around and lead this lap. 400 meters is a good distance for this kid, but Mike Robson is able to find the wheel, and here comes Chris Wilson. These three are going to be the ones engaging the sprint. Who's going to make it the major final? Carl Pratis is still at the lead, but his work is not done. They're trying to keep Chris Wilson out of this thing as Robson and Pratis are trying to make it to the major final. Whoa, it's going to be a close one. I don't know if Wilson will be able to find it. Look at the back. It'll be, whoa, that's awfully close. I'm not sure if Pratis made it in or not, with Wilson making a good run at it from the back. We'll have to wait for confirmation. Good sprint to get into the major final. The call is on the outside to Chris Wilson. Will get second place in the sprint. Carl Pratis will be racing again in the minor final. Heat 3 now on track. We need our first group for the Cat 3 men. Gilchrist, Douglas, Gibson, Bryan, and Wainwright. First heat for the Cat 3 men. Should be ready to start next. They're followed by the second heat. Malakoff, Hildreth, Spranger, Snoblen, and Ritter. Our final heat to advance to the major final here for the Cat 1-2 men. We got two more riders to sort this thing out. I keep calling the rider in the middle of these fields, thinking that they're kind of the pure sprinter. Once again, we see Mario Sandoval in the middle of this field, and I've seen his top speed be very impressive, but the rest of this field, this might be one of the more dynamic groups we've had in terms of the ability of these riders being well matched. Number 15 at the front, Matty Hers. You saw number 4 shake it up good in the split scratch earlier. Again, Sandoval with good top speed in the third wheel spot. Kenny Williams in the fourth wheel spot, and then Steven Wilson's all the way at the back. As the moto pulls off, the Pacer bike gives the left-hand turn, and Steven Wilson's ignites the move from the back of the field. He's now finally made his way to the front after a good run-up along the back straight. At 1 to go, Wilson's wants to make this a long drag race for himself. He's got a long ways to go to that finish line. He's still he's trying to get a little bit more out of the bike. As you can see, the powerful pedal strokes. He has not settled into this pace just yet. It may not be enough, though, as this gets engaged. The field was able to find his wheel, and he will lose the front now to Baker. And 3 riders come around the turn. It's going to be Sandoval trying to catch up onto Baker's wheel, and it looks like it'll be Baker and Sandoval. They sorted this one out a little earlier than the rest of the fields. It'll be number 4 and 26 making it up for a race in the major. Taking a next look now, moving into the Category 3 men. We've got 2 heats. Your first heat about ready to start. Top 3 move to the major final. Everyone else gets to ride again in the minor final. Coming up next, the Cat 3s. A little bit of a breakdown there as we had what looked to be the exiting riders about to, let's just say, have a little bit of a crosstalk there with the riders in the ready for the next race. We'll get this next one started soon. This is the first heat for the Cat 3 men. On deck, the second heat. Second heat is Malakoff, Hildreth, Spranger, Snoblen, and Ritter. Our women and juniors field to come up after that. Oh, thank you. My mistake on the call. We will have our women and juniors up before the Cat 3s. Thank you for the correction, Peter. So I'll call that heat now. That's going to be Annette Williams, Emily Alexander, Mara Edwards, Ruth Tomko, and Kelly Please. The second heat for the women and the juniors is Lucy Gilchrist, Jane Barr, Heather Nielsen, and Becca Book, and Jennifer Wheeler. You can get a good look here at Annette Williams right behind the bike. Center Cycles rider with the white helmet. Number 102 will be the rider in the first spot for this heat. Once again, top three get to ride again for the major final. So Annette Williams at the front, looking to get into that race, as well as Emily Alexander right behind her, number 113. Lamar Edwards in the middle, number 103. Rue Tomko, 5'10", is the fourth wheel spot. And then number 112 is Kelly Please. She'll be number 5 in the lineup. Top three to advance to the major final. Williams on the front of this race right now, waiting to accelerate things. Probably keeping an eye out on the right side as she's hoping to see maybe somebody on the attack that she can cover and stop their move. Alexander still holding off on the charge from the second spot. Now Alexander starting to accelerate things through turn 3. Edwards and Please find themselves third in the race right now as they're trying to battle things out. They're going to start to overtake Alexander. It's Williams from the front will be one rider to advance. Edwards and Please look to be your next two in the group to make your top three. Second heat about to come onto the track. Now on deck is Gilchrist, Douglas, Gibson, Bryan, and Wainwright. Number 222, Lucy Gilchrist, is the rider right behind the moto for this group. Number 224, Jane Barr, the second in the lineup with the blue and the white. In the middle is Heather Nielsen in red for the Audi Crikey Sports team. Becca Book is your fourth rider in this group. And your winner by a significant athletic move in that first race at the back for Found Cycling is Jennifer Wheeler. 3 riders to move into the major from this group to finalize that major final. This is another one of the situations where you're most likely going to need to watch the very back end, as you saw what Wheeler was capable of in that first race. A lot of riders are going to be watching when and how she maneuvers, I imagine. So kind of keep their eye on some rider coming to view on the right side. In the middle with Nielsen. Kind of starting to bump around a little bit, but now coming back into this lineup. The rider's about ready to say goodbye to the lead position of that e-bike. It's now Lucy Gilchrist at the front. She'll keep on her pace right now, and as the bell is ringing, it'll be the riders from the back starting to accelerate. Nielsen coming to the front and 1 to go. 3 riders to advance. She brings with her Book and Wheeler, both trying to find their way into this one. Becca Book is getting away from the field along with Jennifer Wheeler, but this is a race for 3 positions, not 2. So we're still watching as the 2 riders behind are sprinting it out. And it looks like it'll be Nielsen, the rider in red, will be the other rider to ride again in the major final. The rest will get another chance to race in the minor final. Your Cat 3 men are now going to come onto the track, despite my best efforts to throw a wrench into the system tonight. Here comes your first heat. As we go throughout the night, we'll of course post the start list for the Kieran finals. The Cat 1-2 should be up and live on the online folder. We'll shortly get up those women and juniors. We'll get their results posted as well, so you can get the start list ready to go. On the track now, this group has got Peter Gilchrist, number 338 for the J. Baker Juniors team at the front spot. The Red Ranger, Stan Douglas 369, is the second rider. For Liquid Velo in the middle, Grant Gibson. David Bryan is wearing the black and pink for Dyna Racing, and then a teammate of his in the pink is Gene Wainwright. Those two are the 4th and 5th spot in the lineup. Those positions for the Kieran, by the way, are determined by random draw, not by any sort of speed or any contest before this race. It's just a random draw for who gets what position. Gilchrist, the one that, if you're online checking in on this race as far away as, I don't know, Australia, I have it on good word. You're getting to get right into the action, brought right down onto the track in our sprinters lane, as the Kieran bike is providing a good view of the racing action for our riders this evening. And for folks that are far away that want to get a feel of what's like the speed on the track. I will say, standing up here at a 400-meter track, sometimes you don't get a sense of just how fast these riders are going. It's a unique experience to tune in and get a look down there on the track at what's going on. It's now Gilchrist's race to lead. Stan Douglas still on his wheel. Out of these groups, it'll be 3 to advance to the major final, and the rest will ride again to the minor. Gilchrist looking over the right shoulder, waiting for the move. It's 1 to go. Douglas also waiting. Anticipation is that someone's going to be coming into view over the right side, as often is the case in these Keirins. Once they're down the sprinter's lane, they tend to stay there. Peter Gilchrist now on his move down the back straight. So will Stan Douglas then accelerate. He's been waiting for this race. Off he goes. Top 3 get to race again in the major final. David Bryan is making his move now. And it looks like Grant Gibson is making a run at it too. Peter Gilchrist still in it right now. Will it be? It's Gilchrist in your major final. From the front, he holds on. Stan Douglas and David Bryan will both get a chance to ride in the major final with Peter. Now on the track, our second heat for the Cat 3 men is Itai Malikoff is the rider right behind our e-bike today. Number 324 for the Jerry Baker Juniors team. Austin Hildreth, number 320 for the County Green team, is in second spot. In the middle is Joe Spranger for the Jerry Baker Juniors. Peter Snoblin in the black and white for Airtech Racing. Number 303 is the 4th rider. And for Dyna Racing, Mike Ritter in the pink is your 5th competitor in this group. 3 riders will advance their way up for the major final to join the previous 3 and make a group of 6. On deck, the Cat 4 men. Heat 1 is Kevin Hodges, Merrick Gallagher, Wilson Turk, Jason Fuller, Dan Pham, and James Campbell Harris. Your final heat getting set to go after that: J.C. Pyle, Fred Marshall, Henry Armstrong, Scott Fowler, Brendan Conford, David Gilchrist, Thomas Park. The e-bike about to depart from the track. Your women's start lists have been posted. Women and juniors, you can check your start list for that group on the live folder. Ring, ring, ring is the bell for 1 to go. Peter Snoblin, 303, coming up to the front to try to lead out this sprint as early as he can, trying to be in the top 3 of this group. Couple juniors right in the middle front area or side by side with each other is Malikoff and Spranger. Spranger, the right on the outside, has the better lane to accelerate. He's got the room to go, and he's starting to get some good ground caught up on Snoblin as he overtakes in the middle of the turn. It's Spranger. Snoblin's still near the front. Which 3 will make it? Snoblin's trying to hold on to this thing. Ooh, it looks like it's going to be all the 2 juniors in the group. I think Malikoff and Spranger, along with Austin Hildreth, will be your top 3 unofficially. In a close one, that field was crowded getting to the finish line. Might have been our most competitive heat so far this evening. And onto the track now, we get into 2 heats for the Cat 4 men. Once again, the top 3 advance for the major final out of the 2 heats. Kevin Hodges, number 474, is the rider behind the e-bike in the green with the white helmet for Fount Cycling. Merrick Gallagher, number 454, has got the black and blue of the Jerry Baker Juniors and a red helmet. He's the 2nd rider. In the white and the blue, the rider in the 3rd spot is Wilson Turk. Jason Fuller, number 446, is the fourth rider in the group. Dan Pham, number 450, in the blue with the black helmet, your fifth rider in the group. And then James Campbell Harris, sporting the unicorn at the far end of the group, or 411. Into the final half lap now with the lead bike about to pull off on the back straight. Three riders to advance to the major final. This is the first of two heats for the Cat 4 men. Kevin Hodges finds himself in the lead of the race as the pacer pulls off. The bell's ringing for our first heat. One of our juniors, Gallagher, near the front, trying not to lose the wheel of the rider right in front of him. Wilson Turk in the middle, still in a good spot. Look for the run up from the back. It's not come yet, though. The front three starting to separate themselves. They look almost like they're in a combined effort here, a coordinated sprint, as the three just start to pull away from the rest of the field. Hodges, Gallagher, and Turk coming out of the turn look like to be in the top three. And it looks like that'll be it. The rest of our riders to move on to the minor final for one more race tonight in the Kieran. One more look for another heat before we transition into the finals. This is JC Pyle right behind the bike tonight with the neon helmet. Fred Marshall in the orange and yellow is the rider in second spot, number 426. Henry Armstrong in the black and blue with the red helmet, number 505. Scott Fowler, number 440, in the black jersey in the fourth spot. Brendan Confer in the green, number 457, is your fifth rider in the group. David Gilchrist with gray is the sixth rider, number 499. And finally, Thomas Park at the back end of the group, number 435, will round out this group of seven. So slightly higher stakes out of this group with only 3 spots still available, despite the fact that the group has 7 in it. Three to go. Check the start list online. We are about to call the minor final for the Cat 1-2 men. That's our first group up for the Cat 1-2s, the minor final, followed by the major final. That about to start as we're now in our final heat. Bell's ringing, and Thomas Park makes a big move from the very back of the field. He's well ahead of the rest of the riders now. Thomas Park, you saw him break away from the field during the split scratch, and he's going to try and do the same thing again. Here's the other rider that did the same thing. As these two riders appear to be very strong this evening compared to the rest of this field. They're going to try to break away well ahead of the sprint. So Confer and Park do just that. Scott Fowler also trying to make it into this major final. He's starting to break away from the rest of the field that he's with. It's going to be Park and Confer clearing this thing up, and Scott Fowler on his way for advancing into the major final. Your minor final for the Cat 1-2 men: Pratis, Finson, Hers, Waterman, Martinez, and Williams. Up first, on deck, Mike Robson, Andy Baker, Alex Siegel, Chris Wilson, Mario Sandoval, and David Richter for the major final on deck. And now coming on the track, the minor final for the Cat 1-2 men, about ready to get started. That's Carl Pratis with the black helmet on right at the front of the group. This race will be for 6th through 12th in the overall standings for the Kieran, but of course, these riders are going to race this like it's a race for first at the front of the field. If we have anybody available on the infield for a brief bell and laps relief, real quick over on the bells and laps, I think we might need it. Thank you, Kelly. Flexibility. Our group all together behind the accelerating bike, getting onto what now will be one more lap with that leading bike to accelerate up to the top speed. Again, this is the Cat 1-2 men's minor final. Carl Pratis will be the rider at the front of this thing. Barely getting edged out in his heat, which was a very close race at the front, only allowing 2 riders per heat. He's got a tough spot, though, to be in at the very front, as some riders behind him have a little bit better spot being in the middle, at least if they're able to find a good wheel and maybe not have to do quite as much work to get this thing going. Pratis might feel pressure here to keep on the pace. He will maintain speed, but he is not working too hard. In fact, he slows it off just a bit. The rest of the field starts to fan out a little bit as they hit corner 4. Martinez starting to reposition, so is Williams. The acceleration not yet coming at 1 to go. The bell's ringing. Now Martinez starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Carl Pratis is waiting to see something. He sees Martinez coming into view, so now he's just going to try to sprint this thing off in the front. Martinez making a good run at him, the rider for the Pipe Broadmark team in the white and blue. Here he goes down through turn 3. It's still a good acceleration for Martinez. Making a good run at it. Kenny Williams also on the wheel, maybe able to come around the outside. It's 3 riders near the front. It's going to be Martinez. Martinez all the way around the track, number 18. We'll take the minor final tonight. Coming on the track next, we've got our Cat 1-2 major final. What might be the fastest overall finish tonight. They had to go fast just to qualify to be here. They had to be top 2 out of their 3 heats, and they have now earned the right to compete for what will be the top speed event tonight, most likely. Keep your eyes peeled for this one. Coming onto the track now, Mike Robson in his bright yellow and white helmet standing out. Number 9, ready for a good race. Andy Baker has got a teammate with him, number 27. That's number 4 in the 2nd spot, and Siegel in the 3rd spot. The 2 riders for the Broadmark Realty Capital team that have qualified here. And then we got a whole lot of green. Found Cycling making up half of this group tonight. Chris Wilson with the white helmet. Mario Sandoval with the black helmet in the 5th spot. And then finally at the back group is the Rocket, David Richter. And 3 to go. It'll be interesting to see if there's any sort of shifting in this major final before the bike pulls out of the way. But as you've seen for most of these races tonight, these heats coming up into these races, the riders tend to stay in their lineup right up until the final moments of the race when we get into that bell lap. Same here for this race for the top 6 positions for the Cat 1-2 men. The minor final for the women are getting ready. The women and juniors is getting ready to start. On deck, your major final for the women and juniors follow that. 2 to go as they cross the line. Getting up to top speed on the back straight. With that, thanks to Jack Springer providing his legs and getting a little bit of help from the battery there on the bike. It's a little easier to get up to speed, but he's still doing a lot of work tonight, leading our groups. Whoa, here comes the Rocket. They call him that for a reason. He's able to get that bike up to speed quickly down through turn 3. Number 17 made the boot all the way from the back, and he caught most of the field by surprise, but they're still there on the wheel. Here comes Siegel, Baker, Sandoval, all trying to come back up and reel this thing back together. So Richter will lose the lead spot as now Baker, Siegel, and Sandoval are in a 3-up sprint. It's still Baker all the way around the track. You got number 4, Andy Baker will take this one tonight. I thought we were going to have a 3 or 2-up sprint there for first place, but Baker made it look a little too easy. It was a good sprint for second, though, as Sandoval and Siegel and Robson battle it out for the second spot. And a great finish for the Cat 1-2 men. Coming on track, your minor final for the women and juniors competitors this evening. Our women junior field have a minor final on the track now, followed by their major final. Again, results in your start list, you can check in the live results folder for those riders to be ready for your upcoming events. We got Jane Barr, number 224. Getting a look at her on the stream right now as she'll be the rider in the first spot. Emily Alexander is right behind her for the Liquid Velo team in the black and green. Lucy Gilchrist in the third spot and Ruth Tomko in the fourth. This will be essentially 7th through 10th place for the women and juniors in the Kieran. Jane Barr, the rider in the white and blue at the front of the group, will be seeing some daylight on the track on the back straight after the lead bike takes off. We're now seeing 2 to go. Half lap left for the e-bike. And he's taking the left-hand turn, leaving this field to race however they wish. Jane Barr says, let's go and keep it quick. Emily Alexander in the second spot is waiting to make her move, as is the 2 juniors behind her. 1 to go, 1 to go. Good to have a good supportive crowd here in Redmond, Washington as our riders go by. They can certainly hear you, give them their support. Seeing 1 to go as they accelerate. Jane Barr is still trying to hold in the lead of this thing. Alexander, the rider in second spot, waiting to move. Lucy Gilchrist, I think, also has something more to do in this race as she'll try to accelerate as Emily Alexander gets up and out of the saddle. Lucy trying to find her way towards the front. And it looks like we might have a junior coming out into the lead spot as she hits the home straight. It's Lucy Gilchrist coming out from the group. Gilchrist will take the minor final. Emily Alexander coming up to the front as well. The major final for the women and juniors now about ready to start. On deck, the Cat 3 minor final. You saw earlier tonight, you've already been impressed by what she could do in the first race this evening. Now we'll see how this one goes in her Kieran ride tonight. If you're on the stream, you're getting a good look at Jen Wheeler, the rider in green at the very front of this group. Amar Edwards in the second spot, rider number 103 for the Greg's Cycle team. Becca Book for Shadow Elite in the third spot. Heather Nielsen, Audi Crikey Sports in the red, is your fourth rider in that lineup. Kelly Please for Apex Racing, the fifth rider. And, of course, Annette Williams for the Kenmore Velo Center Cycles squad in the sixth spot. Three to go. This will be, indeed, for your top six positions in the Kieran tonight for these competitors. Top honors in the top speed event this evening to go out from this competition here on the track now. A few more Kieran still to sort out this evening as we go through the rest of these finals. We have the minor and the major final for the Cat 3 men, followed by the Cat 4 men. Before we work into our final sets of races tonight, we've got scratch racing as our final experience for Friday night racing. Plenty more racing to come as we get into now the final two laps for the major final for our women and juniors. Keep your eye on 104's positioning, kind of in the middle front there, the rider in the orange, Becca Book. Annette Williams, always a big factor in a Kieran with her ability to be at top speed and her consistency, number 102 at the back end of the field. She's got the longest way to go, but she's starting to make some adjustments already. In fact, here as Wheeler gets to accelerate, Edwards is trying to hold on to Jen Wheeler's wheel. That's a lot of wheels. Hitting the home straight, it's Wheeler, Edwards, Williams, one to go. Wheeler in an all-out attack, Edwards and Williams in as deep of an effort as they can to hold on to the sprint. Here comes Becca Book coming up there as well. It's going to be 4 up down the back straight. Wheeler knows that she can win this from the front with her power, but she's trying to hold on to what will be now a counterattack from Williams, who made the run all the way from the back. Can she come out around the front? Here they come to the front side. 102, so good in the Kieran. Annette Williams, can she close this thing down? Williams, look at this. Book coming at her too. Whoa! Annette Williams, 102 for the big finish in the Kieran. It'll go Becca Book and Jen Wheeler for second and third across the line. Your minor final for the Cat 3 is now on the track. Gene Wainwright pulls the position for right behind the e-bike. It's Gene Wainwright, number 312 for the Dyna Racing team. Peter Snowblin, 303 for Airtech in the white and black is the second rider. Mike Ritter for Dyna Racing in the pink is in the third spot. And Grant Gibson, Liquid Velo, your fourth rider in this group. On deck, the major final, Hildreth, Gilchrist, Malakoff, Spranger, Douglas, and Bryan. One more lap left with the lead bike. Gene Wainwright, again, the rider that'll be at the lead of the sprint as things get going. Peter Snowblin right behind him. Leave him a little bit of room right now, but I think he'll close that back down before things get too crazy. Won't be surprised to see our leader at the front of the race, Wainwright, just try to keep on the pedals as hard as he can here and hold on to the lead position. And he's starting to do that now as he hits turn 3 and 4. Coming out onto the home straight now with Snowblin waiting, buying some time with the bell ringing. One to go. Number 303 keeps looking over the right shoulder. He's waiting to see if Ritter is going to try to attack before he goes. The closer he gets to the finish line, the less he has to sprint. As he hit the back straight now, it'll be Snowblin on his move, up and out of the saddle. Takes over the lead spot. Ritter in second wheel, trying to hold on to Snowblin's speed. It'll be these two in a side-by-side sprint for the finish in the minor final. Ritter making a good run at it. It looks like Mike Ritter might be able to get there. It's Ritter. Just over Snowblin for the minor final. And up next, we've got this major final. Top 6 positions for the Cat 3 is coming on track now. And here is our major final for the Cat 3 men on the track now. Austin Hildreth drew position number 1. That's number 320 for the Country Green Turf team in blue. Peter Gilchrist for the J. Baker Juniors is the first of 3 juniors in this group. Behind him is Itai Malakoff, and then behind him, Joe Spranger in the 4th position. Stan Douglas for Flow Cycling Factory team. The Red Ranger is the 5th rider, and David Bryan, Dyna Racing 322 at the back of the group. Hildreth has been, I think, one rider to watch. He's in a tough spot at the lead of this field. We'll see how he plays this race out. Again, this is for the top 6 spots. So the riders are going to be going all out tonight to see who's going to be at the top of the Kieran. We saw in the heats, Stan Douglas, rider 369 in the red and white, the Red Ranger look has been really effective in these races, and we saw in his heat how strong he looked. He might be starting to think about the positioning in the middle of this race a bit as the pace isn't doing it for him. All 3 of the juniors made a good competition. I've seen David Bryan win a lot of sprints. The rider at the back starting to accelerate things as the lead bike pulls out of the way. It's Austin Hildreth on the lead of the lap and just trying to turn this into a drag race now. I don't think he's going to go off his tempo. Can he hold on to the front at 1 to go for first to 6th place in the Kieran? 3 juniors lined up behind Hildreth, who's just going to try to hold on to this thing. He's got a long ways to go around the track. Stan Douglas losing the pace, but he's going to get back on it and see if he can hold on as the acceleration is getting accelerated even more by Hildreth at the front. The juniors can't seem to overtake this guy. Number 320 still holding on. Hildreth all the way around the track. Can he do it? Peter Gilchrist trying to not let him get away. It's still Hildreth, still Hildreth. Can he get it? The juniors don't want to let him. Here they come. Whoa! Itai Malikoff in the 3rd lane above the blue line finds the speed necessary on the home straight. I thought it was going to be Hildreth all the way in the track, but the kids did not let him get away, and they get just enough acceleration at the end to close it down. On the track now, your minor final for the Cat 4 men. On deck at the major final for the Cat 4s. Up after this, we've got scratch races coming up, and if you want to help make a lap even faster and put some money in the back pocket of our racers, you can go to velodrome.org/live and click the Preem donation button now. Put a little extra cash into the fund that we give to the riders. Again, the easiest way you can give some money to a rider on a fast lap, go to velodrome.org/live. Donate to the Preem. There's a Preem button right up there near the top of the page you can click, and off you go. Guaranteed to go out to a rider here on a Friday night during the scratches. And we already are planning to do $1 a lap, so it's going to be fast already. We've already got some cash sitting around for some good Preems. I can't wait to see what we'll be able to do for a fun Friday night. On the track right now, we've got this minor final underway. Jason Fuller drew the 1st position. James Campbell Harris, your 2nd rider in the group. David Gilchrist in the 3rd spot. Dan Pham, your 4th rider, number 450. J.C. Pyle in the 5th spot. Henry Armstrong, the 6th rider in the group. And then the 7th in the group is Fred Marshall, number 426. Again, you can go to velodrome.org/live, and the Preem donation button at the top is for a fast lap in our scratch tonight. Donations that come in now will be able to add into some of the big lap prizes we give out to our riders. 1 to go. Number 411, that's James Campbell Harris, making the big move, hitting the home straight, and off he goes for a fast lap in front of the rest of the riders in this group. Can he stay away from the 3 chasers? It's still Campbell Harris on the lead of the lap. He's just trying to make all his dreams come true. The unicorn off the front's doing a good job here on this attack. He's holding off the field. Campbell Harris will take care of this one. Dan Pham will come across the line 2nd, and there's David Gilchrist for the 3rd finishing spot for the minor final. And now on the track, your major final for the Cat 4 men. We got a junior that drew the 1st spot, number 454. Merrick Gallagher is at the front. Brendan Confer in the 2nd position. Your winner of the 1st race tonight, and he looked very tough in that qualifier, so you'll watch the rider in 2nd position, as will you keep your eye on Thomas Park, the rider in 3rd spot for Machine. Wilson Turk in the 4th spot. Your 5th rider, Scott Fowler, and in the 6th spot, Kevin Hodges. So the donations coming in, we're over $130 for our preems already. Being able to split that up between our fields will make things even more fast and fun tonight. Again, you got a couple more minutes to get in before the first scratch. Velodrome.org/live. The preem donations looks like prime when you look at the way it's spelled. Preem donations at the top there, the red button. And off we go for this major final for the Cat 4 men. You've got a junior right at the front trying to lead this thing out as Merrick Gallagher. I called out some names to keep your eyes on in the middle of this group. We saw how they raced earlier. Kevin Hodges making a run at it. Confer keeps watching his teammate starting to accelerate at him. He doesn't want to give up the lead spot, though. Confer will take things into his own hands as he rounds the track and now goes down the back straight. Thomas Park also coming at the rear wheel. It's going to be Confer all the way around, looking very strong tonight. Thomas Park still trying to hold on to this thing, as is Kevin Hodges, the rider in third spot with the white helmet. Hitting the home straight, it will be Confer at the front trying to hold on for this thing. Your winner for the Kieran will be Brendan Confer. Thomas Park across the line second, and your third rider, Kevin Hodges. With that, we are ready for our next group of riders. It is time for the Cat 1-2 men to the rail for your scratch race. Cat 1-2 men to the rail for your scratch race. All right, so I do have important news in regards to the upcoming scratch races. Thanks to some generous donations from folks, we're going to do two things to make it fun tonight, riders. We've got, first of all, $1 a lap for the scratch races for all of our riders tonight. So $1 on the lap for the scratch race, and at least $35 for the preem. It's going up as we speak, so anticipate more than that. You guys get to find out during your race how much it is, but it's going to be more than $35. I'll tell you that. We're figuring it out. So, two big ways to get cash, $1 a lap, and I got to ring the bell once during the race for a big cash prize. All right, you heard from Amara there. $75 for the preem is what we're going to do. Minimum. Okay, it might still go up. You have time, folks, if you're out there. Get it in. So a minimum of $75 on a lap during this race. Riders do not get to know when that is. The only way we'll all know is when I decide to ring the bell from up here. That'll let the riders know that there's a prize instead of there being the last lap of the race. Otherwise, what are these riders doing? Well, they're racing a scratch. All that means is they're racing a scratch distance, in this case 30 laps, and at the end of that race, there will be a bell from the infield at the lap board telling them it's one to go, and riders at the front of the field are your winners. That's a straightforward race for the finish line over 30 laps. In addition, we've also got the $1 a lap, again, thanks to the generous donation of our community to make that happen. So that'll be fun for the riders. Every time they come across the line, the rider at the front picks up a buck as they go around on what will be a fun and fast finish for tonight's race. Scratch racing about ready to start here for the riders. There's your whistle. Things are underway. First lap going out. 30 to go. Oh, yeah. Haldeman's like, I know how to get some cash. Go lead a lap. But Martinez says, so do I. Nick Martinez will take the lead of this one. Number 18 might be picking up our first dollar. Nick Martinez, 1. It'll keep adding up. Don't worry. This guy's motivated now. He's going to try to keep it fast. He's got a crew of 3 willing to maybe spread the work a bit out between these riders. This is the perfect motivation for riders that have good endurance to just get out away from this field and not let them make it a race. And that's exactly what we're starting to see here as Haldeman is going to try to benefit from the position he's in on the track with these 2 riders. Picking up a buck for the single malt velo team, number 34. And Chris Wilson, also a dollar richer. Number 39, moving it along. Off we go. Still cruising along, and we're still calculating all of the incoming donations to make this a very fast and fun lap for our riders tonight. Still riders at the front get their extra dollar per lap, so there's a little bit of motivation constantly at the front of the field to compete for what will add up if you're consistent. 24 to go. Sandoval, your rider, to get the cash that time. Andy Baker has been in great form here at the end of the season. I think kind of planning to be in top shape. And the best of his, the peak of a season for some of our competitors is the Masters Nationals competition, which happens generally at the end of the season. And it's been a good couple of weeks for Baker, number 4. So you're going to want to keep watching him tonight in the scratch. See how he chooses to ride this thing as we brought back those leaders and we got ourselves this large field of riders back together again. Heading onto the back straight is the front of your race. Nick Martinez at the front of that. Now, number 18 for the Broadmark Realty Capital team. $22 to go. Martinez already pulling in a healthy haul of $3. He's your lead of the dollar a lap competition. Riders going to be seeing 21 to go. This field here looks like it's going to be in sort of a combined effort for quite a while as these riders are taking their turns, just keeping it as consistent as they can. That's Steven Wilson's number 25 riding high and along the rail. So he took his turn. Chris Wilson in the green with the white helmet. You saw him back in the Kieran major final for this group. Kenny Williams on his wheel is about to take the lead spot. So our same group that's been together for a while continues on their pace, and it looks like, again, these riders are going to be making out the majority of this event together. It'll be these, what appears to be a group of 9 riders, thinning down into now this field. I think we're north of $85 or in that range, north of $80 for our preem now for this field and for the rest of our fields, as we'll split it evenly for folks. So the preem has gone up pretty significantly. I've got at least $80 now when the bell rings, and the riders still have that to look forward to. A 16 left to go. Chris Wilson picks up the dollar on that lap, number 39. Your field of 9 here is filled with a good, well-rounded field, I'd have to say. We've got a good combination of just top speed riders, great top speed that can count to this group of 9, and as well as some riders that will mix it up with the endurance efforts that may try to make things just a bit too quick for this group once we get to the end of it all. That big sprint for the cash is on all of these riders' minds, though, as that will be the big prize for these riders. This is not the featured race tonight, so for the Omnium, it's not as important as the Kieran. A big cash prize like $85, bigger than a winning from any of these races or for the overall Omnium tonight. So their big prize, the cash payout, will be their main goal. And at that point, we'll see how the riders respond and then are able to attack afterwards and or rest. Number 4, Andy Baker at 14 to go. His teammate takes the front. You also got the Rocket in this group. Mike Robson in the yellow with the white helmet. We've talked about Stephen Wilson's and Chris Wilson quite a bit already. Kenny Williams is in this front group. The Killer Robot Racer, Matty Herr is in the black with the neon yellow, is in this group. Mario Sandoval in the green with the red bike made it into the front and is on the lap still. We've lost some riders as they've either lost the lap or have abandoned the race with the speed from this group has been so quick and so consistent. 13 to go. Martinez continuing to pick up the $1 throughout this race. Stephen Wilson's on the front trying to keep things as quick as they all can at 12 to go. This recent effort starting to thin the field. What was 9 has now become 8 on the lead lap in this group. $11 to go. Kenny Williams moves up to the right. This has been an impressive amount of just consistency and tempo for this field. It has been unwavering for so many laps. If they've just been on this pace, it's a large group still, so they're able to share this work, but still, nonetheless, you got to be paying attention to this, the speed that these riders are putting out, the amount of power that they're putting out, and the consistency in their effort. It's been for a while. You have to imagine, as you're starting to see, some of these riders might actually start being a little bit fatigued at the speed, which is sort of the point for riders like Baker and Wilson's and Chris Wilson. They do not want to see this ride slow down and let the sprinters take it the easy way. And Baker gets on the front and really hits the hammer hard here at 9 to go. He strings it out a bit. The yo-yo kind of is, the back starts to fling out and sort of bring itself back in again. That's a lot of effort from those riders in the back of the group. But I think Thomas Park and JC Pyle knew something, because I got $85 on the lap. $85 on the lap at 8 to go. $85 to lead the lap at 8 to go. Let's see who's going to go on for the big sprint here. It's already been such a hard race. And now the big cash prize Down the back straight. Andy Baker's been waiting to win this one. He comes out from the middle of the field with a big move. Rocket is also trying to challenge. Richter is in the sprinter's lane. Baker above him. It's going to be head-to-head, side-by-side on the home straight. Baker and Richter. Baker and Richter for the big money. It'll be Baker for this one. Number 4 takes the big cash prize. You got a break of 2 and maybe 3. Will they continue to ride this thing for the win, or are they going to sit up and try to bring this thing back together again? Andy Baker, number 4, your big cash prize winner with that impressive midfield sprint. And technically, he won $86 on that lap, I'm reminded. Because math. 6 to go, and we've got a break of 3. Although after that big sprint, I'm not sure how much more they got in the legs. They may allow this to come back together again as they're keeping it at a moderate tempo with the group of 5 hustling along quickly to bring it back together. Five to go for the win of the race. We get a bell at 1 to go. That's the next time we'll hear a bell ring in this one. And thanks to the community for some big donations tonight to make that a fun lap for these riders. And we'll get to do that again for each of our fields. So they can all look forward to the big cash prize coming out for their scratch races. Coming up next, our women and juniors. Four to go. Chris Wilson on the move. No surprise that from the big effort from Baker to get the cash, he's feeling it a little bit now as he's losing the pace. He's got Mike Robson with him, so he's not alone in trying to keep with the pace of this front group, still trying to catch his breath. Richter responding really well from that head-up sprint with Baker is back in the field, but they all sit up at the blue line, so this allows things to kind of reconnect. And as that reconnection happens at the back end, there'll be some separation at the front as Chris Wilson's going to try to move this thing along at 3 to go. And Kenny Williams, rider number 2, will try to match the effort. Both riders make it quick enough that the biggest impact, again, is who's left off the back as this small field continues to thin. Only 6 riders able to hold on to the current pace, with Robson and Baker both losing some ground after the reacceleration from Chris Wilson at 2 to go. The biggest gain for this field is that they've just lost a couple more fast finishers, though. Robson, proud and strong, will not let this thing get away. They sit up above the blue line, again letting these riders catch back on. They may still not be a factor as it's clear the fatigue has started to set in, but maybe they can hold on now as we're so close to the finish. They may have enough left to mix up this finish. We'll see how Robson places after getting back up into this one. Sandoval, another rider to watch here near the end. He's kind of sitting up behind Wilson's rider in the green near the front of the field now as he's looking around waiting for somebody to go on the attack. It's 1 to go and the race is stopped. Who's going to make the next move? It's 1 to go in the scratch. Our final lap for the Cat 1-2 men in the acceleration now coming from Sandoval down to the sprinter's lane. He's on his move. Off they go and the drag race is just starting to happen as you can see the big lineup. Robson's trying to push his way up and join in on the fun after dangling off the back for a while. He's back in the field. Here comes Hers. Here comes Kenny Williams, all trying to challenge, but Sandoval from the front may best be a bit too fast. Sandoval for Fount Cyclings is hold on all the way around the track from the front of the field. Super Mario Sandoval. Number 25, Stephen Wilsons, will go second across the line. Matty Hers will be a third rider to make it in on that fast sprint. Good finish for the Cat 1-2s, and we'll have them all exit on the lap as we're about ready to bring out our next field. Women and juniors to the rail. All right, so the update again. We've got the $1 a lap and $85 on the 1 lap prize. The one preem will be $85 for the field. Scratch racing for the women and juniors is 20 laps on the neutral now. On deck, your Cat 3 men for their scratch race. And then the final race of the night. We'll close out this Friday night racing program will be the Cat 4s for their scratch race. Plenty more preems still to hand out for our riders. Lots more fun to be had. You can join us in the beverage garden throughout the rest of the evening. We'll be open a little bit past the racing. You can meet some of the riders. Tell them great job tonight. Have a little fun in there. And, of course, know that your $5 purchases help support the Marymore Velodrome Association. I'd like to say your donations have never tasted so good, and you can do so tonight in the beverage garden, Post Dock Brewery, and Locust Ciders for you to enjoy. And there's your whistle. Racing starting. 20 laps to go. All right, and with the early laps here for our women and juniors, Emily Alexander, the rider in the black and green at the front of the group, starting to accelerate things and spread things out a bit. Brings a couple juniors with her, the two right on her wheel, as well as Jane Barr trying to get up and join in on the fun at the front. $18 to go. Emily Alexander picking up some dollars at the front of the race early on. Just trying to get enough for one beverage afterwards. That's the goal. Lead 5 laps. That's all you need to do. If you're having a good time tonight, don't forget, we have one more night of Friday Night Racing, our big finale to the season. We're having a bit of a fun race next week. We'll be polling riders to figure out what races they want to do. That's right, our posted schedule is blank. It says rider choose. I expect some craziness to happen. We'll see what happens with that. But it'll be a fun night as we close out our season, and we just feel so thankful to even have had it in the first place and celebrate all the great stuff that happened in summer of 2021. That'll happen next Friday night at 7 o'clock. That'll be our final night of racing for the season. If you're online still enjoying the stream, we appreciate you still being here with us and enjoying the racing. Of course, you can leave a comment if you'd like to support a racer at any time. Many of our riders go back and rewatch their racing the next day or two, and they can see those comments. Of course, a thumbs up on a video, a share, subscription, hit the bell, all those normal things that we say to the online communities out there watching the content. We appreciate you being here, and hopefully you're enjoying yourself and appreciate the efforts we are making to bring racing to you no matter where you're at. Those 5 riders going underneath the Stanley sign are beginning to separate themselves just a bit from the rest of this field. Becca Book is the leader of the charge. Looking for that dollar prize on the lap is Becca Book. Joining her, Annette Williams, number 102, now takes the front. Kelly Please, Heather Nielsen, and Jen Wheeler make up the rest of the 5. And I think you can identify quickly the riders that have been at the top of each of the races so far tonight are in this group. So it's pretty obvious. If you want to be in the race, you got to be up here. Edwards makes the move from the back group to try to bridge up quickly to stay in the race as long as she can. She brings with her at least one more rider to join, as I believe Rue Tomko making their way up. Heather Nielsen on her own move now at 14 to go. Well timed. trying to get away from these riders, maybe go on a bit of a lone ride for a while, number 111. Edwards looking around saying, where's the race? Well, they're all behind Wheeler right now, watching what she's doing. This allows Heather Nielsen a whole lot of running room. If you see where Nielsen is, she's just now going into turn 3, and just as she does so and hits the Stanley sign, the group with Wheeler and the other fast finishers are just now getting into the back straight, although they're on a move now behind Kelly Please. Coming on the home straight, your rider in red at the front of the race at 13 to go, Heather Nielsen. Rue Tomko, number 510, takes a turn. Edwards looking around, seeing that maybe this group of 2 ought to join in on a group of 4 that's coming in fast as they're charging up. They've given Nielsen a lot of room. I think Wheeler might be ready to go try to catch down the rider in red. This rider you see in turn 3 now coming onto the home straight shortly is still the front and by a fair distance, but the rest of the field has begun to catch. 12 to go. Lots of bucks going the way of Heather Nielsen. She keeps picking up the dollar a lap incentives. Jen Wheeler, Becca Book, and Kelly Please doing a lot of effort to try to get up there. So now is Annette Williams. She shares some work with Please in the pursuit. $11 to go. And 9 to go, your race leader, Wheeler, at the front. Group of 4 crossing the finish line now with Kelly Please in the lead of that group. Down the back straight, you can see 3 riders riding high, about to be found out by Wheeler. Wheeler seeing 8 to go. A couple more riders being found out by Wheeler on the back straight as Edwards and Tomko. Both trying to get on the pace of Wheeler, who's been, again, so impressive this evening with her abilities. I was thinking that maybe around now we might have it a little bit closer, but I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and ring the bell at 7 to go. I got a big $85 to lead the lap, and you know who it is. Jen Wheeler's already here. So she's already done the move to set this up. The rest of the field seeing 7 to go. Heather Nielsen at the lead of the group. Currently on the same lap as the leader. These riders racing for second place. The riders on the wheel behind Wheeler are not eligible for this preem. I'm telling you, it's still the lead of the race, and that's going to be the rider in green. Picking up the big cash prize tonight for showing up to the track. That's a pretty good payout on a Friday night, I'll tell you right now. Number 122 is very strong this evening, showing us what this is all about. She continues to ride like this. The field does not have a chance to catch on. Two riders on Wheeler's wheel, but again, it's Wheeler alone on the lap at the front with 5 to go. The rider in green. You see the field in their position is almost halfway behind on a lap here, about 200 meters back. We'll see as they cross their finish lines on opposite side from each other. You got a 200-meter line over there. So on the back straight, just almost exactly the same time really as they cross. So about halfway around the track for the leader now. As Wheeler has been so consistently impressive this evening with her solo athleticism out here tonight, not sharing on the lap with Edwards or Tomko, as she's able to just keep on this pace. The field working together, not making really too many gains coming into the final laps here for these riders. Three to go. Three to go for the field. Just now crossing the finish line. That's going to be Heather Nielsen to the front of that group. She pulls up to the right. So they know what the race is for. It's a race for second. So they're going to be keeping attention on each other. They're not trying to catch the leader anymore. They know they've got to just be watching each other. Coming under the Greg Cycle sign, about to be on the back straight. And now looking at the back end of the field as they hit the back straight is Wheeler and Edwards. Edwards not on the lead lap. She will not be competing for first and second place with Wheeler, but still holding onto her pace after several fast laps. The field sees 2 to go as they sit above the blue line and wait to initiate their sprint for what will be second place in the race. And there's your bell. Put your hands together for Wheeler. She's on her final lap. One more lap to go. Getting close to the back end of this field. Although not much for it. They'll probably be accelerating soon, but we'll see. Wheeler's going to backpedal a little bit here as she hits the back straight. Knows that she's got the race wrapped up. And your field in front of her starting to be up along the rail and waiting to initiate their sprint. There goes your rider in the red. Getting the bell. It's 1 to go for Nielsen. Getting the bell. It's 1 to go for Nielsen. 1 to go. Big applause for Wheeler. She crosses the line right now. Impressive athleticism for a rider from Found Cycling Guild. Making everything faster tonight. Down the back straight, Becca Book trying to go on the attack. She's got Annette Williams on her wheel. These two always in a good battle in a scratch race going head to head. Annette Williams has got the wheel. Becca Book leading it out right now. Can Annette Williams find the speed to take over? Here they come. Williams has got the advantage of taking the second wheel, and she'll be able to use that to close things down. It's Williams for second place in the race. Becca Book will still hold on for a good third place finish. I think that's all of our riders. I think we are set and safe. Cat 3s to the rail. Couple more races to go tonight. Once again, $1 to lead the lap. 85 is the big cash payout for the Preem. On one lap during this race, on deck, Cat 4 men for the final race tonight in their scratch race with Preems. On the track right now for their 20-lap scratch race in the neutral are the Cat 3 men. Their final race of the night. We will look forward to giving out $85 on one of these laps to these riders and $1 a lap to the lead rider for each and every lap. Again, on deck, our final race tonight, Cat 4 men getting set for the next race. We'll close out tonight's program. Our penultimate night of racing in the 2021 season has been a good one. Look forward to a fun racing format next week, as we don't know yet what we're racing. We'll be polling the riders to get a sense of what they want to do for their final night of racing next week. And the whistle signaling the first lap. Off we go. 20 laps. Our race underway here for the Cat 3 men. Again, 20 laps of racing for this scratch race. The big preem is going to be on their minds. $85, too big a figure to ignore. That's the big prize tonight. The win is secondary to that sort of victory. Itai Malakoff, number 324, is on the Jerry Baker Jr.'s team and starts to push away a little bit. He's seeing if he gets a response. Nothing just yet. The field's kind of a little bit, I would say, inactive at the moment. They start to get reactivated, though, as Itai looks like it's a little too easy for him to start rolling away. Malakoff made things quick for a moment. The riders bringing things back together again. It's still a little bit bunched up for this field as they're still waiting to get into top speed, maybe still warming up on these laps as they're feeling out the pace of the group. I'll tell you, one rider who's put plenty of time on the bike, Joe Spranger, can ride for a while. He's going to keep things going now, number 333. If he ain't out the track, he's on the trails. And he'll trailblaze for this group anytime if he's got the room for it. So he gets things moving again. As soon as he gets off the front, things kind of slowing down back just a bit. You can see the back of the field crowding. It's David Bryan moving up. Looks like the juniors all willing to try to keep this thing going. They also are sprinting for the $1 a lap, knowing that there's some money each time around the track, as Malakoff will pick up another $1. This is a lot like a missing out sort of effort. Some moderate sprint every single lap, and then a rest, and then a moderate sprint. This is how these guys look to be racing this thing, is the opposite of a missing out. The inverted missing out. Austin Hildreth at the lead of the field now, number 320. Putting enough effort just to guarantee the $1 payout. The little extra lap incentive making the field just a bit faster consistently tonight. Down the back straight, Joe Spranger now moving back to the front. It's starting to, again, be a fairly moderate tempo around him as the field is accelerating just enough to pick up the $1 and then sort of slowing off on the back half of the track. $13 to go. Spranger picks up $1. 12 to go, and Peter Snowball, number 303, is on a big move. Trying to get away from this field in the middle of the race, seeing what can happen with at least a big attack. This might be a good time for him to separate himself. Snowblin breaking away a bit here at 11 to go, trying to time his effort. He found a soft spot in the group and made a move, and he finds himself pretty good off the rest of this group at what will soon be halfway through the race. Ten to go. Snowblin's still on his solo break. Get some encouragement from both the fans in the infield as he's got himself in a good position on the track. Next time we'll be seeing 9 to go. So we're past halfway through this 20-lap race now, and Peter Snowblin's still in a good position. Not gaining much ground yet, but certainly not losing much either. And he knows when to be out in front because I got $85 to lead the lap at 9 to go. I got $85 to lead the lap at 9 to go. Snowblin's been out here for a while. Can anybody get him? $85 to lead the lap at 9 to go. $85 to lead the lap. It's a ways to go. I'm not sure what these riders have been thinking, but they've been letting Snowblin get away in the middle of a race with a preem. And I think they've just surrendered to the rider in white and black. Aerotech Racing was just a little bit too smart for the rest of these riders. He knows the middle of the race is the time to go collect this preem today. Snowblin all the way home for the 85, and why not take that as encouragement to just keep it going? He still has some distance here. The field kind of got a little antsy and, in fact, lost a rider in the middle of that thought effort to maybe go catch him. And so now he's got an easier task in some regards. We'll see how he's going to try to play this one out, but Snowblin's still on the pedals. Why not? Can we see the Aerotech Racer just stay away? The field is in single line. They're all ready to chase, but they're not getting any ground yet. Snowblin, 7 to go. If you want to see the lone rider win this thing, give him some help. 6 to go. Put your hands together and encourage him. He's going to be deep in his efforts trying to hold this thing off. You got to know that's a tough place to be. In fact, the hardest place in competitive cycling, the solo break. You can't ever take off any sort of pressure from those pedals. You got to stay consistent. No time to rest. Nobody's wheel to sit on. And he's got a ways to go as he still has 5 laps to go on this thing. Snowblin, 5 to go, trying to make the all or nothing move. Spranger's got lots of muscle too. He's going to try to go get him quick. Hildreth was waiting for somebody to go get him as well. He joins in on the effort, number 320, trying to get up to Snowby's wheel as fast as they can. Down the back straight, you've got Itai Malikoff, Spranger, and Hildreth on the pursuit. And Peter Snowblin says, I think they've found me. This does result in a smaller field, so maybe this is a move for him to sit up and go, Mel, maybe now's my chance to race against a slightly smaller field. Snowblin back in with a group of 4 at 4 to go. Coach Andy is upset. 3 to go for the Cat 3s. 3 to go. Snowman again on the attack. 2 to go. The juniors aren't going to let him get away this easily this time, though. Spranger and Malakoff try to match the wheel. You've got to break for the rest of these riders, though. It's going to make a group of 4 sprinting for the top spots. Snowblin knows he's been found immediately, so he'll sit up and let the rest of the riders take the lead spot. Will they stay on the pace and try to drop the 3 behind him? I doubt they need to do that, but they may choose to keep on their pace. They sit now along the rail with Hildreth keeping it at a moderate tempo. Joe Spranger, the junior, on the inside position. Itai Malakoff, the third wheel, and at the back is Snowblin. The riders from behind the field have caught back on. This could give them an opportunity, but it's still Hildreth at the lead and control of the sprint. 1 to go. Spranger sees a good lane to go left. He'll take it. Malakoff has been in good form this evening. The rider in second spot might have the perfect position to win this race. Hildreth, though, also has the wheel now and could make the big sprint and break this thing apart. Spranger strong from the front. Can anybody come around him? Joe Spranger to try to end this race tonight for the Cat 3s. Joe Spranger, Malakoff and Spranger, Malakoff and Spranger. Whoa! Malakoff was running at it, but it'll be Joe Spranger on the inside. The unofficial call. Itai Malakoff made that a good one. He almost had him at the line with great acceleration in the final meters. But I got to give it to the rider on the inside for taking it all the way on the track from the line and will not be denied. Cat 4 men to the rail for your scratch race. $1 a lap and 85 on the bell from me. In our final race of the evening, Cat 4 men to the rail for your scratch race. I see plenty of viewers still out there enjoying the end of the racing program tonight. If you had any fun this evening, we'd appreciate a really quick thumbs up on the YouTube video, a like on the Facebook video, and of course, if you haven't already headed over to the YouTube channel, left us a subscription and hit that bell to be notified when we go live. You'll be reminded back in 2022 when we start racing again. Please give us those, hit that bell, hit that subscription button. We appreciate the support as we spread the word that we got great racing going on here in the Pacific Northwest. And your final reminder again, we got $1 per lap at the line each time around for the leader, and I'll ring the bell once for $85 cash preem for the field. In the neutral now for the final race tonight. This is a 15-lap scratch race with preems for the Cat 4 men. Currently in the neutral, starting out at turn 4. You know, scratch races always have the potential to have those kind of excellent finishes. You think in the middle, you're like, oh man, is this really worth sticking around for? The ending always has the potential to be that sort of fun. So stay tuned for us for this one last race. It'll be a good one. These Cat 4s racing good tonight. Out for their final effort. Friday night racing just about ready to start out of turn 4. There's your whistle and racing's underway. 15 to go. Henry Armstrong getting his name called over the loudspeakers and move off the front. Number 505, one of our juniors, making a good move here early on. This is how to get the $1 per lap, is make a move like this early. No reason why not to. He's been studying the couple previous races. He noticed that breakaways have been getting the big cash payouts. They've been kind of like timing it well for when the preem lap would be. So there's a double gamble going on here, but Henry's like, he's $2 richer already. Might as well keep going. $12 to go, and Armstrong wants to get another $1 richer. He'll get it. 12 to go. 5:05, feeling a little bit after that last lap, but good effort for the kid out in front. One of our younger competitors racing out here tonight in this group of Cat 4 men. And your field, having caught the leader, back together. Now on the wheel of JC Pyle, your lead rider in the group. The neon helmet, seeing 11 to go. Kevin Hodges right behind him. James Campbell Harris in the black, number 411 behind him. Your front of your field kind of rotating now. As the field catches the leader, they'll keep on their nice consistent pace. They saw 10 to go there. Now already down to 9 laps to go. That's Brennan Comfer, who's been the fastest racer of this field tonight and for the past couple of weeks, number 457. Certainly one to watch and a likely rider at the front of this field when we come to the end of this race. Kevin Hodges with his move now, trying to come and take the front away from some of the riders leading it out. He'll take the spot from Thomas Park at 8 to go. Trying to cruise this group forward. Keep it quick. And our leader seeing 7 to go. That's Thomas Park now in the lead of the group. Number 435 pulls up and out of the way for, again, Confer sitting near the front, always trying to be ready for whatever might happen. The big prize, the Preem, still upcoming. Six to go.
Shouldn't have known if I was the one who's drowning in your flood. It's so
And at 5 to go, I got $85 to lead the lap. $85 to lead the lap at 5 to go. One of the juniors on the front, Merrick Gallagher, says, oh my gosh, I got to lead this thing all the way around. Are you kidding me? Gallagher still in the front trying to get the big cash. The move from the middle of the field maybe coming soon, though, is look out for Campbell Harris. Top Gun makes the big move from the middle of the group. He's off and away. I think he's already wrapping this one up. He may just be like backpedaling after this big sprint. Look out. James Campbell Harris. That's a lot of pints, brother. Bang. Nice. And that is as good as first place or better. Worth no upgrade points, mind you. Can't buy your way up in the categories. At 3 to go, Brendan Conference decided to go ahead and try to end this thing. He did not like being behind the sprint there for the big cash, so he'll just say, you know what? Nothing else but to go get the victory. Time to go get the victory. So Brendan Confer on his way. Thomas Park trying to match the speed and work his way back up there to Confer on his solo move. This has been a night of solo breaks. Quite a bit of the time with one rider off the front. They saw 2 to go as they crossed the line. Your chasing field just about to go under the Greg cycle sign in turn 2 with your leader entering turn 3 now. And there's your bell. 1 to go. Count for putting on a good show tonight for the Cat 4s. Trying to go straight through this event. Clean sweep for the Found Cycling Guild rider as he goes on his final lap. 1 to go for the field. Now sprinting for second. Confer's still well ahead of them. Thomas Park leads the lap for the field. Nobody making the move just yet, so Confer will turn our attention to our winner here for a moment as he comes onto the home straight. It will be Brendan Confer for the Found Cycling Guild once again picking up a victory tonight. Behind him, it's Thomas Park, just all the way around the track. I guess he will not be denied either. The rider for Machine, unstoppable here for second place. Kevin Hodges trying to challenge it, but it'll be Park, Hodges, and then Turk will be the first couple across the line. Almost over. The track's not completely cleared yet, but so hold on just for a moment, folks. Thank you. And with that, we can officially close tonight's racing program out. How about this, folks? We only got 2 nights of racing left this season. That was one heck of a good one for September. How we put our hands together for all the athletes tonight for some great racing and a good show for all of us here. What a great time that was. We appreciate you all, of course, being in person and supporting our riders. If you're out there on the stream enjoying the action from afar, we appreciate you. Leave that thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give a share on the video. We appreciate your support. More racing next week, and in fact, the last week of racing in 2021. Unbelievable. We were so fortunate just to have racing at all. It felt like back at the beginning of this season, and what a great summer it has been. We look forward to seeing you for that next Friday. Again, riders, check online for the poll for your choice of format. We will be polling riders to make the program next week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Stay tuned for the poll. You can hang out with us for a little bit longer, folks. Beverage Garden is open. Jessica's Unique Bites is still got the grill ready and hot for you. So if you need to come over and put in a late night order, you can still do just that. Stay safe, and we look forward to hosting you again for more racing action here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome.
Where are you? What's up? What's going on? Simple truth, I'm low.